welcome to another episode on Brampton Focus. My name is Michael A. Charbon. On May 30th, Brampton City Council approved a motion to take about 70 acres of land which was in question, and they were converting lands which are called employment lands into residential lands, meaning basically lands that were set aside for businesses and manufacturing were then taken and said, we want to build houses on these lands. A very important vote. It was voted on 10-1. My next guest was the dissenting vote, and on June 8th put forth his motion to have them reconsider it. And as I said, he was the one dissenting vote. My guest is the councillor for wards 9 and 10, Mr. Gurpreet Dhillon. Gurpreet, welcome to Brampton Focus. I want to read a quote here from you. I'm disappointed that City Council keeps telling our residents that building a city where you can live, work, and keep taxes low is not a priority. Instead, the Council wants us to export jobs outside of Brampton and hand them to other cities and municipalities. And you're referring to the Employment Review, which is the Municipal Comprehensive Review, which says that currently Brampton has 33%, meaning that 33% of the people in Brampton live in Brampton and work in Brampton, whereas when you compare that to Mississauga, it's almost 65%. Tell me, Gurpreet, why did you object to these employment lands being transferred into residential, and why was there such a disparity in vote, 10-1? You were the only dissenting vote.
Well, I think it's a matter of principle, first off, but also to me, it's a matter of logic. In the past 25 years, we've had 1,500 acres converted of employment land to residential. And if you take a look at this particular area, so most of the 7 parcels that they wanted, 6 of them were in Brampton East, and they directly affect my residents. So the reason why I dissented was because one of these parcels of land, 44 acres in particular on the northeast corner of Gore and Queen, it was already rejected for any type of conversion back in December 2015.
When you say any type of conversion, meaning that taking industrial land and saying that they wanted to build houses.
Right, that's right. So they were very adamant in it, and they said no. But in January 2016, they were more open to converting it. Now, it's a key piece of land. The reason is because it's on Queen Street, right near the Highway 50 corridors, right near 427. It's accessible to Vaughan, to Toronto, to Mississauga, and to the rest of Brampton. So we need in that area 860 jobs. That's what has been planned by our staff. And so
just to be clear, your staff and City Council have said within that corridor, within that parcel of land, to address what your projections are, right, the city growth, you need to generate 862 jobs or such, and through industrial land usage, you would be able to attain that. If you transferred it into residential, you would not then.
Right, but so the applicant said, listen, we'll satisfy your 860 jobs within 7.6 acres. So let's just call it 7 acres, and we'll get 860, but give us the rest for residential. And so to me, I didn't think that makes sense. I said we could easily use the rest of it for employment as well. We've already previously said it was an important piece of land. So I think the greater problem here is that our projections long term are too low. So we are told by the province that your population should be roughly this much by 2031 and 2041. So by 2041, it's going to be approximately 900,000. We choose how much, how many jobs should be there, and think the number that we've chosen is low. So when it's low, the requirement to hang on to it becomes that much less important.
So out of 11 votes in council, 1 including the mayor, so the mayor counts for 1, there's 11 votes. Why? I have a hard time to understand why the other 10 people, including the mayor, did not share the same logical route that you're proceeding down. Where is the disconnect? Where is, because there's got to be something that's different.
I can't speak for them. I use what I use is facts. I use what people tell me. Now we are, if you take a look at what jobs can bring in Brampton, it means you can work here. It means you can spend more time with your family because there's commuting less. There'll be less traffic. Your quality of life will increase. A study done last year by Money Sense magazine ranked us at 154th out of 209 cities in Canada. We couldn't even crack the top 150 in quality of quality of life. And so, to me, it's when you're converting all these lands, when you're saying certain lands, parcels of land, they're not usable anymore because we built houses around it. My question is, why have we had such poor planning that we basically, almost intentionally, in my opinion, put those lands in that position, and why are we continuing to convert land? The biggest problem we have in the city is jobs. Our activity rate, meaning the number of jobs per people, residents, is extremely low compared to the rest of the GTA. We're the lowest.
Well, 33% in Brampton, 65% in Mississauga. That's shameful. It's half.
The national average is 50%, and so we're not providing opportunity for business to come here. We're also not providing opportunity for our residents.
Some would say, Gurpreet, that you're playing populist politics by saying, "Oh, we want jobs." And jobs is what everybody ran their elections on, and there has been some discussion that you're just doing this because you want to push jobs ahead and you're not looking in the same eyeglass as the other 10 people in council. What are they not getting?
Well, my eyeglass has a lot more distance, I would say, than anybody who disagrees with the fact that we don't need more jobs. And you take a look at the surrounding cities. We mentioned a 66% in Mississauga, and I can't speak for what other people's opinions are, whether it's populist politics.
But you have to bring them around, right? Well, that's part of politics.
Well, I'm taking a look at what people are telling us. And now what people are telling us is that we don't have enough jobs here. And it's true. Every time the provincial election comes along, what happens in Brampton? Temporary jobs. Are we doing anything about it? No. And particularly in Ward 9 and 10, they say, listen, we live in a sea of houses. We need some industry here. We need some jobs here. Mm-hmm. We need to reduce the tax burden that's on our shoulders. 80% of our tax revenue comes from residential, and that's way too high. And so we can keep telling people that, listen, Brampton's the greatest. It is great. We have so many advantages to it, but until we take a look at the things that are holding us back, we won't be successful.
What is the next steps? You came back June 8th and you said you disagree with it. You're the one dissenting vote. Right. Is there any other cause for review? Is there anything that we can do before it's slated to say you've lost it?
Absolutely. So the next step is this. What I've done is this week I've submitted a motion to be added to next week's council agenda. Mm-hmm. In this motion, what I'm saying is that we should raise the activity rate to 40%. So we have a 60-40 split. What that will mean is we have approximately 30,000 jobs we're going to have to, extra jobs we're going to have to prepare for and aim for in 2041 when we reach basically full population growth. And so Heritage Heights, which is the last frontier for the city, it's on the western side of Brampton. We haven't completed our secondary plan, so we still have time to make sure that there's enough employment land there designated to meet 40% activity rate.
There's a lot more meat on that discussion, and I think, Gurpreet, you've highlighted some of the things that we should consider. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the motion that you brought forward in City Council in Brampton and some of the positive things that are coming forth with that. My name is Michael Charbon. We're here with my guest, Gurpreet Dhillon, who is Councillor for Wards 9 and 10. We'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back to Brampton Focus, our webisode. This is our second part. I'm here with Mr. Gurpreet Dhillon. He's the councillor from Wards 9 and 10. He's an athlete. He's a leader. He worked in Brampton, and also, I mean, this is his first time in council, and we have to commend you. You stand up and you say what you believe, and that's the kind of people that we need in politics. Continuing with that, recently you just put forth a motion in Brampton City Council that is of some merit to pay attention to. Tell us what that was about.
So the original decision made on May 30th to convert these employment lands is something that I on principle disagreed with. I don't think it was in the best interest of the city. I don't think it was in the best interest of the eastern part of Brampton, Ward 8, 9, 10. And so that was at the planning meeting, May 30th. So June 8th, I submitted a motion to reverse the decision. Number one is
you lost the vote. We have to say, just to tell people.
It was
10-1. There was, including the mayor, and voted to change those lands, industrial lands, to residential lands. But you still objected because it's in your ward, practically.
I objected to it, so it lost 10-1. And the second part of the vote was, so overall I said this. I said, until we have our economic development plan in place, which is going to guide us on how to strategize in attracting different sectors and different industries and businesses to Brampton, let's hold off. We might need the land. It could be valuable in the upcoming future. And so 10-1, the vote to reverse that decision was lost. 6-5 was the second part of the motion, which recommended that we freeze future conversions until the economic development master plan was completed. And so that was 6-5. And
when do you anticipate that the master plan is going to be put forth?
It's going to, the terms of reference are going to be completed soon. We're going to start it up. In 2018, it's going to be finished. And so my request
that lays out jobs, prospectuses, where we're going to have expansion, where homes are, etc. And your basic premise is that we need to be able to concentrate on jobs in Brampton. If we're converting industrial lands or employment lands to residential, we're losing the potential to.
So I'll give you an example. Okay. In this plan, Economic Development Master Plan, we're going to figure out, how we attract life sciences sectors here, because we have a hospital, we have a new one coming up, we have the Erin Oaks Center for Kids, and so that's to our advantage. And so at the same time, conversely, in Mississauga, they have a life sciences strategy in place already. And so they also have 7 hospitals there, and they have a consultant ready to go who's working with
a little bit bigger place.
And so, no, actually, you know what? We're going to be more than them in population by 2041. I think we're going to surpass them by 2031 as well. What I'm saying is this, that if we have an economic development master plan in place, which is going to help us attract business, we might need those lands for business. And we don't have to build just for the sake of building, which I feel that we've done over the past 20 years. We can hold off on some of the development.
There's a lot of meat to this discussion. I still can't understand how, from what I've listened to you and from what I've read, there are always 2 points to every discussion. I mean, of the 13 requests that were put in, or the 13 parcels of land, 6 were no and 7 were yes. So there's still some discussions, but you being close in that ward is an interesting. Come back to us and tell us what happens, because it's interesting. When you talk about urban sprawl, I mean, one of the systemic things that many people have said is that Brampton was always developed without a plan. You have 300 or 400 houses in a quadrant, you have a 2-lane highway and no lights to come in and out, and people are experiencing difficulty. There's not enough services. We look at all this moving forward, something that many people have said about Brampton, and we look at Heritage Heights. Now here's something, I want to ask you this question. Here is probably one of the last green areas that we have in the western quadrant of Brampton, and that is coming up for discussion. What's going to happen? Where do you stand on that? And what is going to go on? What are the decisions that Bramptonians are going to entrust in their councillors to make?
Well, that's the last frontier for us, and it's a make-or-break situation, do or die, whatever sports analogy you want to use. Either we prepare correctly and we plan correctly for the future accordingly by planning Heritage Heights in a manner which we can accommodate jobs, we can also accommodate the growth that we're going to have, but we need to make sure we do it right. And so again, what I'm going to do is propose in council next week that we increase our activity rates or our job projection to 40%, which is about 30,000 jobs, so that the future generations, long after we're gone, will still be able to live and work in Brampton, and their taxes will be lower.
Are you suggesting that for Heritage Heights you want to make that an industrial zone? You want to put business in there?
I want to add more business in there.
But wouldn't the majority of people say that because it's our last green space, it should be somewhere that should be used for houses and parks and recreational centers, etc.?
Well, we want to decide, it's going to be mixed. We're going to have residential there as well. One thing we've failed to do is build up in Brampton. I think we need to take a look at the rest of our land, including Heritage Heights in particular, to find out how we can accommodate the growth. But like I said, once you convert, or once you plan to convert to employment to residential, there's no going back. So either we make sure that we accommodate jobs for the future, or we can make sure that we have one of the highest tax rates in all of the GTA.
So let's switch gears. When you talk about growing up, you can talk about education, you talk about a university. Let's switch from jobs to careers and education. Brampton has a Blue Ribbon Committee, which you are a member of, in bringing a university. I mean, it's been touted the previous regime and the current regime with Linda Jeffrey. Give us a little bit of an update with about 2 minutes left of where we're at for the university in Brampton.
Well, I think the last regime, I guess there was no plan. They passed the deadline, which was September 2014, to get an application in. Fortunately for us, the province opened the process up, and so one of the 3 universities they're going to make has went to Markham. It's going to be, the second one will be between us and Halton, so Brampton and Milton most likely. And so we have the committee ready to go. We're waiting for the deadline to be announced by the province, and we're speaking to some of the universities now. We're looking at all different types, whether it's an urban campus, whether it's out in the suburbs, but I think most of the universities want to get into the urban center because of the accessibility to transit.
Did you just say LRT? Accessibility? No, I didn't. Sorry, that's a tough spot. That's another show altogether.
It would have been a nice thing, but I think we're heading in the right direction. And, I commend the mayor for her leadership on it. Councillor Medeiros, Councillor Miles, and myself are on the committee. The whole of council, this is one thing that we all agree on, that we need a university. We're the largest city in Canada who does not.
So it's been a year. It's been a year. You've been in office for a year, just a little bit over a year, actually. When are we going to see some results? I mean, we've here at Brampton Focus, we've had the opportunity to have many people visit with us and speak of this. I think the people in Brampton are ready for an announcement, and they want to see something because they want their kids to go to school in Brampton, in a Brampton university. Is there any timeline? I mean, I know that's a horrible question. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but when you talk about the people who are involved, you're all decision makers. Do you see on the horizon somewhere?
Yeah, we're serious about this. We're working with those universities to see who we can partner with. We've sent a letter to the province to give us the exact deadline. We're just waiting now, and I think within a year we'll know, and I'm hopeful that within a year we'll find out whether we're having a university here or not.
And it's an interesting discussion because we talked on the 2 things here. You want to educate the folks in Brampton, and you want them to be able to work in Brampton, so we can raise that percentage up. That's the right thing. So that connects.
That's exactly.
And hopefully walk through Heritage Heights and be able to see both green space, living space, and working space.
Absolutely.
Gurpreet Dhillon, the councillor for wards 9 and 10. My name is Michael A. Charbon. Thank you for watching. This was one of our webisodes. If you have a community issue, or you have an event, or you have something that you feel is of importance to the people and the residents of Brampton, please come forward to us, and you can reach us at bramptonfocus.ca. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.